Today is the Rundown March 10th. I have lots of intramural shirts. I love the intramural shirts coming. Today I wore a Team Freight Train shirt, and it didn't feel right to take that off to put on an intramural shirt. So we're sticking with the Freight Train shirt. Let's go, Nate. Quick news. You have a theme song now. So we're going to play this every single time.
Now Nate got the freaks, and that's a known fact. Before I got jacked,
Nate Dogg. It's good to have Nate Dogg on the rundown.
I like it.
Nate's got the freaks, and that's a known fact right there, Nate.
By the way, Nate, was that a gutter war trying to get your Skype updated before Smitty there?
Oh, is that what was happening there?
Yo, it was who can get their Skype updated faster.
Yeah, no, you're never number one on the list. Where there's nobody else here, Nate. Like,
I assume K Marco's dead. KFC is having babies somewhere. Yeah,
Smitty out. Trent's not coming to New York. It's like you were the only guy. We were sitting around. Big Cat wants to just do it with just a blank screen on your face and just says Nate. We literally had no other options. You had us held here, handcuffed, but we're glad you're on. Nate's got the freaks, and that's a known fact. So, right, there we go. All right. And it's perfect because it almost looks like we planned this for you because Bryce Harper is topic number one, saying that baseball is, a bunch of losers, too slow. They don't let players show their emotion. On the other side of this, which my producer Hank didn't put down, the total other side of the coin is Goose Gossage basically doing a 180, saying guys, I guess, like Harper, guys like Batista, there's everything wrong with baseball. So you had the exact old school, new school. Nate Dogg, what do you got on? Nate's got the freaks, and that's a known fact.
Bryce said what
Florida
we've been saying forever is if you don't want someone to pimp a home run, don't give up a home run. If you don't want the pitcher to, fist in your face, don't strike out. So I don't think anybody really has a problem with what he said besides the old baseball people, but the old baseball people make up, 90% of baseball fans at this point because young people don't watch baseball. So Bryce is like, I want to make baseball fun again. I want fans to come back and watch baseball. People like me and Puig want to make it exciting, and they're trying to hold us back. And some people are trying to say Bryce is the villain here. He's the hero here. He's the guy who's trying to make baseball interesting, and I don't know how anybody can dislike him. It's the same people who don't like Cam Newton for dabbing. It's the same exact people. You have to be on Bryce's side here. That's
That's totally wrong. That analogy does not hold water. The same people who hate Cam Newton, I don't think hate Bryce Harper. I think that is sort of like a race thing. I think a lot of the Cam Newton stems around race, black quarterbacks, that type of shit. Big Cat, what do you got?
I get what Bryce is saying. If he actually wanted to make baseball great again, he wouldn't talk about making it flashy or, pimping home runs. He would just say MLB's got to stop being Nazi Germany with all their highlights. And welcome to the 2016. Let us put vines up. Let us put GIFs up. Let us do – no, but that's what I'm saying. The baseball's biggest problem is not – that people are bat flipping too much or not enough. I think there's just the right amount of that. The biggest problem is they fucking suck at selling the sport.
Yeah, and I would say I agree with everything Harper said. I love the bat flip, the Batista, the pimping. That's why fans watch. The only thing I totally disagree is the other sports don't condone that. The NFL no fun league. I mean, they try to get rid of all that shit.
The NFL's the worst at that.
College football
can't build stars.
College football, I mean, if you don't give the ball right back to a ref, they throw a penalty. So there's a pussification of sports and celebration in general. It's why Vince McMahon tried to do the XFL. So I don't think it's just baseball.
And it's not just baseball with Goose Gossage. I mean, Oscar Robertson is Goose Gossage, just the NBA version, when he's saying that, Steph Curry is basically a gimmicky player. It's there in anything in life. The old guard will always be upset at the new guys who are doing something, making more money, maybe being a little more flashy and marketable.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, I think baseball just has a problem building stars. They don't market their guys as well as, say, football does, but, the Manning and Brady, they went back and forth forever. Right now you have Trout and Harper, and Trout has to promote himself. I don't think baseball does a great job because they're all old people. They don't want to promote Harper the way that he wants to promote himself.
I don't agree with that at all.
I think the old people hate it.
Well, I think there was a problem. I think there was a problem making stars, but that was the fallout from the steroid era. now they're back to being able to do it. I mean, they do have a bunch of young stars now that are coming up and people are getting attached to. So I think they're back in that respect.
I mean, Harper is a bona fide star. Like,
But
he's
how
one
much
of the
is it
few
him
guys I
putting
thought.
himself over?
What?
How much is it him putting himself over as compared to baseball wanting him to be that flashy?
He's
It's all
just a star.
him.
Like, the NFL didn't go out of their way to make Tom Brady a star. What do you mean? He won 3 Super Bowls. He wasn't like. He definitely wasn't a star until
They
he
lined up
Bryant-
Mannion
Chris
and
Bryant-
Brady on national
Nate-
television as much as they could every year.
Chris Bryant's going to be a star, and he's not. I mean, he's vanilla ice cream in terms of
yeah,
you know. He's not like flashy or anything. He doesn't.
I don't
do
think
anything.
he's not even close to as big as Bryce.
Well, he just came up last year.
Yeah,
I
but
would
what is?
expect he would be
Yeah,
as
but
big as Bryce.
that's not the argument you're making, Nate. You're saying Major League Baseball doesn't promote Bryce Harper. That's just false.
They don't promote him the way that he promotes himself. He wants to promote himself as the big flashy guy, and they're scared to do that because they're old people. They don't agree with the way that he wants to go over.
Well, they don't. I don't know that that's true. I thought he's talking more like old school, like the unwritten rules, almost talking directly like Papelbon in a way.
Yeah, he was subtweeting
Yeah.
Papelbon, but it really comes down to baseball just needs to do a better job marketing in general.
Yeah,
Right. But it's not like they're against Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's their guy. I'm sure if you sit down in Park Avenue or Madison Ave and they're like, who's your number one marketable star? It's Bryce Harper. The Trump sucker punch. So Trump rally. This video, by the way, this was just a matter of time until a protester or a rabble rouser getting carted out. And this guy who punched him almost looked like a plant. It's like your brain created what this guy would look like before he did it. Ponytail, cowboy hat, vest, long sleeve purple, just scooting along the aisle. Like, well, I use the analogy when you're at a wedding and everyone's going down the aisle to say congratulations, except he punched him in the face. And then what you'd expect to happen in a Trump rally did. All the white cops tackled the guy who is the black guy. So I'm a Trump supporter. I do not support this. Nate? Dog, what do you got?
They got the freaks and that's
I
a
think
no
you
fact.
said what we all were going to say is when you're at a Trump rally, this is what happens. Like, you can't go to a Trump rally and expect, if you're making a little bit of noise, not to get punched in the face. And that's your people. So I know you say you don't condone it, but
I don't.
You kind of do. By being a Trump guy, you're condoning that.
That's like, you know what, Nate? You know what you just
Nate.
said?
Good point, Nate.
Nate, you know what you just said? I condone online harassment.
Well, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
What? That was your example?
Yeah.
You
I
definitely
can't
do.
control what other people do. Just because I like a guy, if someone else likes him, that doesn't mean I condone their behavior. Just because you read Barstool
You can't-
Sports, I
you
don't
can't
condone
play that
online
both
ways.
harassment.
A little bit of that
Nate,
behavior
I'll
acts
harass
out.
you man to man, like face
Dave,
to
yeah,
face. I
that's
don't
playing-
condone other people harassing you.
But Dave, that's playing it both ways because you always talk about how powerful you are and how people will do whatever you say and you could sell 1 million t-shirts. You can't then be like, oh, well, I can't control them when they get like out of hand. I mean, you have power both ways.
But even
Trump
the
has
people who buy
power
the
both ways.
T-shirts, there's only like 1% of our audience buy T-shirts.
But Trump could say like, hey, like cut this shit out. That's not what I speak for. He's not going to do that. Like he's not going to tell these guys to stop being crazy.
I'm going to tell people right now.
Okay.
Do not harass people online unless
There
they
you go.
attack me first. Big Cat.
we kind
We're done.
of talked about it.
NFL free agency. You guys can go anywhere you want on this. I'm just going to say this. The tall guy who got pushed with the pizza box. What's his name?
Osweiler. Yeah.
That's the worst signing in the history of football.
But
In
it's
real time.
But it is so Texans.
So Texans.
Like, is that not the most Texans signing of all time?
It's so hard to do signings nowadays where literally 100% of the people are like, that's a moron move.
They basically just signed Ryan Mallett, who has like an alarm clock. That's it. He's the same guy basically. I mean, I was never sold on Brock Osweiler. I never thought he was going to be some stud. He had like a couple decent games. I thought he was better than Peyton, so I was always in for the switch. My theory that you switch him. I love that Schaub's back in Atlanta. Thank God the Jets signed Matt Forte because him going to the Packers was going to be the worst nightmare nightmare, or going to the Patriots and having you rub it in my face. So I'm fine. I don't understand what Matt Forte was thinking when he was like, I want to go to a contender, and then he goes to the Jets, but I'm fine with him going there.
KFC's going to rub it in your face.
But they're not. But you know, Dave. I mean,
Yeah, no, they're the Jets.
Right.
Nate Dogg.
They got the freaks, and that's a known fact.
Big defensive end signing with the Giants, and all the Giants fans going crazy over a guy that 90% of them had to Google to figure out who he was. Olivier, whatever, Vernon. Humongous deal for a guy with 7 sacks last year. RG3, still a free agent, bouncing around. First, people think he's going to go to the Broncos. Now people are thinking Jets. Don't really know if he shouldn't start anywhere. He should go back up somewhere and learn a system until he can be a starter.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Also, quick shout out to the Bears for actually making a good signing for once, signing a young guy. It's probably going to take us from 6 wins to 7, but it's nice to go in the right direction for once.
I don't want to rub this in on the Texans, but they're irrelevant now for like 5 to 7 years. They're just irrelevant.
They gave Schaub a huge deal before that too.
It's their move.
Bill O'Brien panicked and he was like, I need a quarterback. Oh, let's just get like the closest quarterback there is.
18.
I will say it's the state of the NFL. So Bill O'Brien's like, do we want to bite the bullet for another year? I won't be here. I got to get somebody who can maybe get me to 500. Airplane fight, brawl on an airplane. Obviously, it's Spirit. I have no respect for anybody who flies Spirit. If you fly Spirit, you deserve to get in brawls, pissed on, shit on, food poison, all that shit. Big Cat, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, Spirit Airlines, people say that I'm poor for flying Southwest. Southwest is like a private jet compared to Spirit Airlines. So every now and then I'll get caught on a Spirit Airlines flight because I just, what they do is basically if you go to look for a flight, everything will be like $800 and then Spirit will be $45. You'll be like, fuck, I have to take Spirit.
And they have, I think, their hub in Chicago, don't they?
Yeah. So little life hack, though, for everyone out there. If you do have to take Spirit, you pay the $50 and you sit in the front row. It's like a extra wide seat.
Nate?
They got the freaks, and that's a known fact.
I thought the funniest thing was anytime like a normal airline, there's a fight, they always ground the plane immediately, whatever city they're over. The Spirit, there's 5 people duking it out in the aisle, and they just kept flying. It was Baltimore to LA, and they just kept flying the entire time. They're not grounding that flight. So you pay, at least you're getting to your place. But in the meantime, you're getting a boombox across your face. And shout out to the lady who brought a boombox onto a plane to begin with and then just blasted it for everybody to hear.
That's a person who's never been on a flight before. You'll every now and then.
Regular.
No, but like that's an adult who has never flown on an airplane before and probably was like, "Oh, can I just bring my own music?"
I guarantee you, Tico, Texas, who was at SFX, whatever that thing's called in Austin. And by the way, shout out to Tico, Texas. Her new EP was released on Complex, getting a lot of buzz. I guarantee you she's somebody who would have like some sort of Walkman / boombox playing it quite loud on an airline. What, Hank?
I thought you were about to say
how she snuck weed onto her flight to SFX.
Yeah, she tweets loudly like, I have weed. I'm smoking this. And it was like a certain type, LA weed.
She realizes that she's going to like the hippiest festival in Austin, Texas, right?
No.
Is she performing?
Yeah, she is. She has
I thought for a second there, Dave, you were going to say Tico, Texas is about to blow up, and that's why I gave my like side-eyed face. Like that's crazy.
6 shows.
See me in about a year. Tico, Texas name is gonna be so fucking big, and it's gonna.
I don't think so, Tico.
No, it's not.
Last one, March Madness. I'm much lighter today. In classic, and everyone knows this, I have been on like a 3-month losing streak. I got hot yesterday, 9-1 yesterday. Shut off. So. That's not shut off totally, but limits and the whole everything's changing on me.
You don't play with limits.
I'm not a limit guy. You can't limit me. You can't keep me in a box. And if you do put me in a box, my brain starts crumbling. I just had one game today. I won it at North Carolina over. I have the Iowa-Illinois over. That's a loser. Iowa, Barstool, Trent. That's the biggest collapse in the history of college basketball. They went from like, what were they? They were as high as 3, 4, something like that. Are they even making the tournament?
Maryland is pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Maryland, by the way, Nate, in terms of regrets, I distinctly remember you writing a blog before the season saying the reason why this season is going to be so special is because of it. You were talking about special season before it even started.
I said they wouldn't drop under number 3 rank for the entire year. I might have
one. Yeah,
multiple times.
That's a situation where those guys just, like you said, they don't play well together.
There are 5 potential first-round picks, second-round picks. Together, they can't do anything. They're just water and oil. It's bad. They're very, very bad. They lost to Minnesota.
That's bad.
And Michigan. Fuck Michigan. That was
Michigan. Michigan's got to win the Big Ten. They're not dancing. And I don't
Maryland
think
plays Wisconsin, I think, tomorrow.
Wisconsin plays tonight against.
And whoever wins. Yeah.
That's the rundown. The only other thing that potentially we have, which is going to be discussed, is Dan, you and PFT are being sued by ESPN for pardon my take for copyright infringement. And we've opened sort of, and this will all be, you guys will discuss it more, talk about it, but we brought in Barstool's corporate attorney to discuss how we should handle this. So my dad is heavily involved. I didn't hear any of your show with him, but I can only imagine because we said we should get him on to talk about it. I asked my father to go on your show, and he refused. He said he doesn't want to be a jester. That's what he said to me. Yeah. So I'm like, listen, I'm not going to push you. Dan, you asked for his email. I saw a couple exchanges with him being like, you're like, when can you talk? He's like, I'm up at 4 a.m. I don't sleep, so you can call me whenever you want.
He emailed me. I talked to him today. He's on the show tomorrow, so everyone tune in. We had him as a guest. He gave us some legal advice, how to take down the mothership. He emailed me at like 4 a.m. with some ideas, and then I was like, "Hey, you were up at 4 a.m." He's like, "Yeah, you got my brain working." I couldn't stop. But I will say this: your dad, not only a great sport, but he had an all-time genius idea that we will be unveiling tomorrow's show as well. So props to him. Like, he had an idea that I never would have thought of, and it's genius.
And I will also say I got a text from you being like, I can't believe his email address is pretty close to what I described
When you sent me his email, it looks like, you know what it is? It's basically like when someone tries to create a Wi-Fi password that's like 15 characters long that you can't remember. That's your dad's email address. Specifically so no one can remember him.
It's a bizarre thing, and he's the real deal. So I'm curious to see how that went. Again, he was very, very nervous about being made into the court jester. So we'll see how that goes. That's it. It's the rundown. Thanks, Nate. Can we play out with Nate's theme?
Hey, Nate Dogg, good rundown.
Hey, you too, guys.
Nate Dogg just left on his own music.
Spot and needs him some desperate help.
Nate Dogg just bounced on his own music. That's such a classic Nate Dogg.
Danger sexy as hell. I said, ooh, I like your side. I said, my car's broke down. If you sing real light, will you let me ride? All right. That's pretty good.
Yeah, except for Nate Dogg bouncing on us.
What? This score can't be right. First half? No. I was up 33-30 with 2:25 in the first half.
Oh, wow. Nice. You got a nice comeback there. I got...
Washington has 26 fucking points in the first 9
I know.
minutes.
I got Washington +8. What do you think the chances are that I lose that one?
What's the score?
They're up 26-16.